Hello, everyone. How many of you have had a struggle or a challenge or a trial and tribulation that sapped your motivation, made you want to quit, made you want to throw in the towel and just be like, forget this, I am so done. Take me back to Easy Street. This is ridiculous. I'm done forever. And I hate this situation. I have 100% done that. And today we're going to talk about how you can keep your motivation strong and push through those challenging times so that you can come out the other side and be happy with your life. Hi, my name is Marian, and I help entrepreneurs get their lives on track, scale their businesses so that they can make more money and have a better quality of life. There has been multiple times in my life that I have faced a trial or a tribulation, and I have had a mix of responses. Some of those responses have not been good. I have almost thrown in the towel. I have really thrown up my hands and been like, this is crazy. And why me? Very, very victim mentality. And what I found is that every time you play the victim, it doesn't do anything for you. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't help me solve my problems. It didn't make me happier. There's actually it might have been one more than that, several years where I felt like all that I wanted to do and have in my life was peace and joy. I was like, my joy is gone. I have no peace. I am like so stressed out. This is crazy. And it was a really, really tough time. There's been other times too where I've had to hire and fire employees, deal with difficult personal issues, had very, very challenging times in the business. And those times will always be around. What I found during those times is that things don't really get easier. I just get stronger. You just get stronger. And you just push through those difficult times. And I just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's amazing the more comfortable I can get with that uncomfortability. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. Being uncomfortable, then the stronger, basically, backbone I get. And there's always going to be something that comes. The things that I can learn through each difficult time is going to help me in some way in the future, or help me notice things faster so I can avoid bad situations, or give me something that I can share with other people to help them during their time. Life is not easy. And as much as I joke and like wish, oh, can we just have an easy life? Can we just sit on a beach and have a drink and be in the sand? It's not gonna happen, ever. And even when you get old and you can retire, you're gonna have aches and pains, and there's still gonna be something that you have to deal with. So literally this whole entire life is about building character and coming out stronger on the other side. And when I've embraced that and moved away from that victim mentality and decided, you know what, I'm all in, this is gonna pass. There's 1,000,000% a way through every single situation. You just may not see it right away. It might take more time to show itself. It might take time to just get through it. But on the other side of every single thing in life, there's always going to be a way through it. This too shall pass. It's not the end of the world. So that's the first thing I want to say that's really been so true in my life. Just keep going, because it's going to get better. Or one thing will go away and something else challenging will come, but you're going to be stronger because of this challenge, and you're going to be able to face the other challenge down the road. We don't know what's going to happen in life. And the only thing that we can control is ourselves and our reactions to everything. The other thing that I've found that's helpful for me as these challenging times are going on is trying to look for the positive. This can be really, really difficult. So I'm not trying to pretend that everything's sunshine and rainbows and oh, this is so easy. But the more I can get into, okay, I'm going to be grateful. This is the worst situation ever. Blah. But what am I grateful for? What's the small silver lining that I can look for in every situation? And as I've worked on it, I've gotten better at finding something. I used to want to also not sit in feelings, like any sort of negative feelings. I'd want to push past that and cover it up. I used to cover it up with drinking. Nothing ever crazy, but a lot of people do that. I 100% have covered it up with food. I had a situation the other day, and it still happens, the other day where I had a conversation that was a very like challenging conversation. Not so much because it was something I was dealing with personally, but it was something like, oh shoot, like I never want to be there. And that conversation reminded me of like, you have to be, stuff can happen. Like you never know what's going to go on. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling that came up from that. And I first looked, okay, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that this conversation happened. I'm grateful that I'm not in that situation, that I can just look at somebody else's life and and see some things that have happened there, and maybe some things that I never want to get close to. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to go home and like cook a bunch of food and eat a bunch of food. That was like 100% my first thought. I'm like, I want to eat chocolate. I want to eat pasta. I want to eat like everything delicious. I have some beers in the fridge. I want to drink that. And I didn't do any of those things, thankfully. I just sat with the feelings and I journaled a little bit, and the feelings passed, because it actually only takes 90 seconds for a feeling that you feel to pass in our body. And if it takes longer than that, then we're actively holding on to it. We might subconsciously be holding on to that, but there's something about that feeling that we're still holding on to. So I had to just sit in that feeling and sit in that uncomfortableness and like very much recognize like my reactions of what I wanted to do. And then I chose to not do them, even though it was difficult. And today I woke up and I feel completely fine. Everything's good. And I'm grateful for that experience, and I'm grateful for that small win. And it's only there because I've had to deal with other stuff in the past. The other thing that I found too, besides celebrating the small wins and looking for the silver lining, is that everything that happens, you're going to find something good about it on the other side of it. What do I mean by that? Whether it's been something that's happened on a personal level, or whether it's something that's happened and I've learned in business, there's an application on the other side of it 100% of the time. So what does that look like? So the other day I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she was going through a difficult employee situation, trying to find, she had to have a tough conversation with somebody that was acting in a pretty inappropriate way. I've also had that situation that I've had to deal with too. And because of that situation, I've actually done a lot of studying and working through stuff, and I've noticed things that I needed to change on my own side, and things that I would always look for and be more careful going forward. So because of my experience, I was able to share and counsel her on how to deal with that situation. And while she's still working through it, and the outcome is not completely determined, I was able to really help in that situation because I've had to deal with it. The other thing I found too is that when you go through those situations, if they come up again, which oftentimes they do in different ways, I don't feel as much angst or frustration anymore, because I'm like, well, I did it before. I can do it again. Might not be the most fun, but I can do it. I remember reading one time that Elon Musk gets sued like almost all the time because somebody's always, he's always in lawsuits. And when you think about that, like, if you think about lawsuits, nobody wants to get into a lawsuit, like stand in front of the judge and deal with all that kind of stuff, even if they're like, I'm completely in the right. But the more that you go through stuff, you build up a muscle, the same way we build up muscles in our body for difficult times. And so you can really take pride, or maybe joy, or just you can know that when you go through these difficult situations, you're building up the muscle to deal with more and more difficult situations as they arise in the future. And what I've also found is that it gives me a lot of gratitude for when times aren't difficult. And I'm so thankful for those times, and I really appreciate them in a new way, because I do understand how much of a roller coaster things can be at different times. I also work on reframing setbacks, and that really goes back to looking at them in a different light. Okay, this is teaching me something. What did I do that maybe took me down this path, and what can I do in the future to help redirect and make sure this doesn't happen again in the same way? And that's taking responsibility. And also what I always like to do is keep moving forward. Action breeds momentum. And if you just stop and you get stuck, you're going to be stuck forever. You can't do this to yourself. Keep going, keep focusing on what you can control, realize that everything is going to pass at some point in time, and just continue to move forward. So how about you? What has your biggest challenge been in the past? I'd love to hear about it. Put it down in the comments. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's lift each other up together, because while things can be difficult, life is amazing. We have so much opportunity, and the more that we can hear about good stories and good wins that other people have had, the more joy and motivation and peace it brings to us, knowing that we got this too. Have a great day.